Hey guys, Elijah here with Bright Duck Productions, bringing you episode 2 of Elijah's Tips and Tricks for Halo 4 multiplayer. This episode will feature the Scorpion tank and Banshee on Exile. Alrighty, so episode 1 did pretty well. I posted it around on various Halo community forums and received several community tips as responses. I'll be going over those during the beginning of this video because I'll be driving the tank again, and these tips are related to the tank. Alrighty, if you saw episode 1, I'll be pretty much doing the same strategy as getting over here next to red spawn and shooting down these straightaways. Alrighty, so community tip number 1. If you have a teammate who is in the tank, you should use a gunner perk and jump into the tank's gunning seat. You know what? I think that is awesome advice and awesome tip because there have been so many times when there's been a guy in my turret and he has saved me from getting boarded. Another thing about a guy being in the turret is if someone actually boards you, I don't know if a lot of people have realized this, it's been in the game since Halo 3. If someone boards you, the turret, whoever's in the turret can actually shoot the guy off if they board on the front. Now if they get around on the back part where the engine is, you're pretty boned. However, if they get on the front, you'll be fine. Okay, so right now, that guy with the sniper, I'm not sure what just happened. I couldn't shoot him for whatever reason, and I got pretty messed up. However, I'm still going strong in the tank. It looks really beat up, but I have Wheelie Man on, so it's not as bad as it looks. So I'm just going to stay in this tank, keep getting killing sprees, getting double kills, see how high I can go, even though it's really messed up. We'll move on to tip number 2 from the community. You can attack blue base, and you can take the meadow over next to the metal wall if you have team support. And yes, I do realize this. It's just when you're playing with randoms and they don't know what you're doing, there's no cohesion between you and your teammates, I find that staying over here next to your spawn is the best go. However, when you are over there on the next to the metal wall in the meadow area, you do have a lot more room to move around in, and you do have a lot more room to avoid those plasma pistol shots, which is a bonus. There have been a few times where I've gotten plasma pistoled repeatedly in this area. I was not surrounded by my teammates. The guy boards me, plants a grenade, and it's over. It could have worked out differently in the meadow, had the same thing happened over there, but you know, you still run the risk of being plasma pistoled in the same way in both areas. I just find it better over here next to the spawn because you're not getting shot constantly by people who are respawning. Just like look to their left and there you are. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Alrighty, so I accidentally commit suicide right there. I thought the mongoose was far enough away to where that wouldn't happen. Unfortunately, it was too close. Goshawk driver there for blue team, not the getting kind of stuck in a ditch. I stick the passenger, doesn't really do any damage to the warthog though. Let's see if I can get it now. Plasma pistol, grenade it, and it's down. Alrighty, so at the beginning of the match, if you recall, I took out the Banshee. It should be back up about now, so I'm going to head back over there in just a little bit and jump in that Banshee. Before we do that, I'm going to move on to a third tip from the community. If you're not in a vehicle and you're running around on foot, try and keep situational awareness. There's been so many times where I've been in a ghost, boosting around, and then a guy just walks out in front of me and I get a betrayal. You know, there's nothing I can do because I'm going too fast. And he's just like, doop-de-doop, and then that's really unfortunate. So please stay aware of your surroundings if you know there's vehicles moving around on the map. Alrighty, so I'm now in the Banshee. moving around, trying to get some kills. You'll notice that during this part, I'm not really getting too many kills, but I am getting a lot of one-shot players, getting a lot of players to one-shot. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the title update, if they rebalanced the Banshee's Banshee Bomb. I'm not sure. I don't recall this happening often before, but it is happening now. So that's just something to keep in mind. You need to get the Banshee Bomb, and you need to pretty much drop it directly on someone's face. Alrighty, so there are many differences between the Banshee in Halo Reach and the Banshee in Halo 4, even though they look similar. In fact, they're pretty much the exact same model. But the Banshee in Halo 4 is more of a hit-and-run vehicle, rather than the one that was in Reach, where you could just kind of fly around, take a lot of damage, if you, you know, could maneuver it pretty well, and, you know, you could just roll people all day long. Well, you can't really do that in Halo 4. Having Wheelie Man helps bring back the Reach Banshee a bit. However, you still need to keep in mind the limited health of the Banshee. You need to consistently keep up hit and run attacks like I just did. You know, even if you do get someone down to one shot, you know, shoot that Banshee Bomb and then move, keep going. The less damage you take, the longer you can stay in the air, and the longer you have the opportunity to get kills. Here I'm doing a little bit of team support, helping out my sniper, so he can continue backing me up down through this way. I just noticed that that tank there behind me on my radar is enemy occupied, so I did that barrel roll, try and get out of its way, and now it's making its way back towards me. I'm going to see if I can take it out. If you look right here, you know, it's just blue team. The Warthog driver was not really great. This goes back to a community tip. If you know, you're not in a vehicle, maintain that situational awareness. That guy who was in the Goshawk just ran it right next through by that tank. The tank was looking at me, trying to shoot me, but instead shot the Goshawk, which blew them both up instead of killing me. So now they're doubly messed up. They don't have a tank and they don't have a Goshawk. So it's very important to make sure you know what everything is going. Make sure what's going on the map before you go and try and, you know, run out there. And that applies to any situation. It's not just vehicles. You know, it applies to maps like Haven. If someone's running around with a binary rifle, you know, you're gonna have to take a bit more cover than you would otherwise. Alrighty, so I'm getting a little singed here now, and taking out some dudes as they spawn in. Here's another thing to consider with the Banshee is you really do not want to get near the ground. Now, I see all the time people getting down on the ground, like scraping the Banshee across the dirt. Now, I don't know why you do that, and I'll come back to that in just a second. You really want to pay attention to what you're doing with the flips, because that was really bad. I was meaning to do a barrel roll instead of a flip, and yeah, the Banshee's really, really sensitive in this game, so just keep that in mind when you're doing maneuvers. Alright, but anyways, back to what I was talking about. You really need to pay attention to what you're doing. There's a great example. If you're trying to go for splatters and getting down on the ground, in Halo 4 that really doesn't work out because the way splatters work. I don't know. Most of the time you'll end up with people messing around, jumping on your hood, boarding you rather than getting killed and splattered. So don't go for splatter kills, whatever you do in the Banshee, because it's not going to work out most of the time. Alright, so we're here at the end of the game. I come out with 28 kills in the Banshee. I know a lot of people on the Waypoint forums, they say all the time, oh, the Banshee, it's awful in Halo 4. You know, you can never get really high kill counts in it. Well, I just did really well in it. And I believe if you use it properly, instead of just running out there and just trying to blow people away with it, you can get on those really high sprees that you would be accustomed to in like Halo 3 and Halo Reach. Alrighty, so running through the medals here, I do have some really good sprees. I got a Rampage in the Banshee, so really good sprees. Alright, so as I wrap up the video here, I want to answer a question from the community. Someone was asking what to do right at the start of the game as red team, because sometimes the blue team will get the Goshawk and they'll shoot at the tank before it can even get out of that cubby. Well, if you just back it up all the way into that cubby, you should be fine. Hopefully your teammates will help you take it out. If you have Wheelie Man, you can take 3 direct hits from the Goshawk in the tank, so keep that in mind. Alrighty, this has been a Bright Duck production. Please comment, tell me what you think of the video, and subscribe for future videos. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned.